I want to start with this very interesting thing I saw on the internet. IMDb says that Bajrangi Bhaijaan was had this whole plan of bringing in Amir and Ritik in the lead role. Is there any truth to that? Where did that come from? There's a whole thread on IMDb. I was
As
shocked.
most things as most things on the internet, you can't trust anything that is over there. No, there's absolutely no truth. I don't know where Ritik came into the picture, but yes, there is a element of truth that before Mr. Vijayendra Prasad brought the story to me, they
Yeah.
had spoken about it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, but then once it came to me, for me, it was always going to be Salman.
Yeah. Salman was always your first choice.
Always, always, because there are lots of reasons for it. Because the character is such that the politics of the film, what for the film stands for,
Yeah.
is something that I know Salman would identify with very strongly. He feels very strongly about that, and also his love for children is well known. He loves
Yeah.
children, so I knew ultimately he will feel very strongly about the film, and that's what he did. The way he reacted to the story when I told him was like, wow. And that's why it became his first production, right? He said,
Yeah.
I want to produce this because he loved
Yeah.
it so much. So that became the first Salman Khan film's production. And I also line produced the film then for the first time.
Oh, I actually rewatched the film yesterday and I was just trying to find things, I Salman, what we see today, the his recent films compared to why people keep going back to Bajrangi Bhaijaan. I feel like you found I always feel an actor can perform the best when a director knows how to direct. And I think people love Bajrangi Bhaijaan so much because we have not seen Salman like that emotional, all those emotions again. I mean, what like you said that you only knew that only Salman would be able to do it. From what
True.
perspective are you saying it? Like, what did you observe as a director from the lens of a director?
It's basically, I'll tell you what, the Bajrangi happened because I had the privilege of having directed him in a film before that, which is Ekta Tiger.
Yeah.
And the journey of Ekta Tiger is a journey in which we both understood each other very well. Ekta Tiger, I've spoken about this famously, and I said that we had loads of discussions and arguments during the making of the film,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I think was a really good thing because in those arguments and in those discussions we got to know each other, and what we feel strongly about.
Yeah.
And subsequently, obviously, Tiger became a huge blockbuster hit,
Yeah.
and I spent time with him, even after post Tiger, when we used to talk about, okay, what's the next film that we should be doing. Of course, the pressure was to do another action film because that's how our industry is, right? If you're given one hit in a kind of a film, then they expect you to just
Yeah.
repeat that. But
Yeah.
I always knew that I don't want to repeat what I've already done with Salman. And in the course of the conversations that I used to have with him, which was not about films, it's generally about life, that's
Mm.
when I realized that, there are certain things that Salman feels very strongly about in life. And those are the issues that Bajrangi Bhaijaan was talking about.
Yeah.
So when I told the story to him, he reacted immediately to it.
Yeah. Do you sometimes feel that movie is so has been so well received that no matter what you do now, people keep comparing it to, you remember Bajrangi Bhaijaan, you remember what he did with that movie. Do you think that's the
Yeah.
case? Because that keeps
I
coming
mean, I
back.
think, I think sometimes you're fortunate to get, a film like Bajrangi in your filmography. And I feel, both Salman and I are fortunate to have a film that is a film that just, the love for it just doesn't stop. It just keeps growing
Yeah.
with every year.
Yeah.
It's 10 years now, but every week it's on television. It's
Yeah.
actually still running in Japan.
Wow.
It's just something that keeps going on and on. So it's very difficult sometimes to live up to a film that has reached that
That level.
level of appreciation in the audience's mind. And that's the reason why we're very careful that we don't want to, because there's a lot of chatter about it, and I'm sure one of your questions would have been about when's the
Sequel.
the Bajrangi. But the reason why we are not jumping into it, even though conventional wisdom right now in the industry is keep anything which is a franchise is working, right? And if
Yeah.
we don't export the franchise to one of the biggest films,
Yeah.
then people are thinking that we're stupid. But the reason why we're not doing it is because Bajrangi has a lot of love, has a very special place in people's heart. And the last thing that Salman and I want to do is make a film for the wrong reasons, where we just do it to, exploit the commercial success of Bajrangi and the love that it has around. Unless we get a story that we feel as strongly about, because I don't want people to, वो कहते हैं ना मुंह का मजा खराब हो गया,
Yeah.
वो नहीं होना चाहिए.
Yeah.
I rather that I don't make a sequel and let Bajrangi Bhaijaan, continue the legacy that it's created and live in people's mind as that wonderful film that they all love, rather than just make a film for the wrong reasons and then spoil the legacy of a film like this.
Yeah, no, makes sense. One of the most talked about things right now in the industry is censorship. Everyone is really bothered about what's going on, and I think you've had your fair share deal of dealing with cuts and changes and demands. So when it happened with Bajrangi Bhaijaan back then, was it all amicable? Was it sorted amicably, or
No, it was.
were you okay with whatever they
It,
demanded?
No. It was amicable. There were certain points at which I stood my ground and I argued and I fought for it. There were certain small things that I said, okay, I don't want to. See, at the end of the day, you have to choose your battles. So if there was something which was irrelevant and nothing that will affect the soul of the film, I said, okay, of course I'll change. It's not a problem. But there were two, three things that was, where I felt that it will affect the integrity of the film. I said, no, this I shall not change. And that's why I stuck to my guns. But at the end of it, of course, it was amicable. And I think even the censor board, the committee that actually saw it, it was very obvious that they had loved the film. And there had been a lot of chatter about the film, on internet and on newspapers and all. And I think there was a wrong sort of idea about the film. Somebody was talking that it might be about love jihad and all this kind of chatter was going on. So maybe when they went in to see the film, they were expecting something, but when they finally ended the film, they realized that this film has nothing to do with what people were talking about. So there were no real major cuts in the film.
Well, do you think it's been 10 years and the way the industry has changed, the way everything around us has changed? Do you think people think and strategize a lot before getting into this genre where there is a political backdrop? Do you think there is any fear lingering? Because you never know whose sentiments you'll hurt.
I mean, of late we've been seeing, a lot of films get attacked. Somebody or the other gets up, somebody in some community or some society or somebody will get up and say, this is something that we don't like. People tend to like very freely file cases against films even after it's got a censor board notification and everything. So that is happening. And unfortunately, the more high profile your film is, the more it gets opened up to these kind of attacks, because some people are only doing it for publicity. There would be some people who might have a genuine grievance against a film and, they'll come to it. But there are a lot of people who also just do it for maybe, their 5 seconds of fame. So yes, I think people become a little wary, and so maybe they're going through their material more carefully to make sure that there's nothing that, deliberately, I don't think anybody wants to hurt anybody. But it's happens sometimes these things slips at us, things that slip through the cracks and then inadvertently they end up hurting somebody or creating a controversy. Though having said that, sometimes it's not always bad. Sometimes these controversies help the business of the film, and those films end up becoming more successful than they would have. But having said that, I guess one is a little more careful to make sure that everything is kosher and everything is in accordance with the laws and in not going to affect and in a certain sense hurt people's sensibilities.
I was asking that you made a very right statement that sometimes these big controversies only help the film to do much better. You don't realize, and it's just helping the film, which actually what happened with Diljit's film. I mean, it was banned from India, but in Pakistan, it's doing so well. So isn't it really our loss in that way? I mean, do you think it makes sense, whatever is going on? Because he really did shoot for the film long back.
True, absolutely. I think even I agree that it was a decision that was taken ages ago. By the time things changed, the film had already been shot, so it's probably unfair to target a film like that. Anyway, my views on things like censorship and banning is very different. I feel one should be a little more liberated with anything to do with art. I don't think anybody is doing or making films just to hurt people's sensibilities or sort of in a way, create some hate or create some controversy. I think it's unfortunate sometimes films get stuck and get stuck in the middle of politics, and then they lose out on audiences, they lose out on a good release. As you said, Daljit's film didn't come over here, but it's doing very good business over there. I don't have an idea of what the film is about,
Yeah.
but I wish we could see it, because Daljit is one of the most respected actors and stars of this country, and has always done very, very good work. And we also know how proud he is as an Indian, and how sort of in a certain sense has been an icon for us internationally.
Tell me your experience with Kareena. What is your observation of Kareena Kapoor Khan? Because
Kareena,
she has this personality where people have just decided she's this bubbly, fun-loving person, but then you see her completely switch in films. Like you can't even disintegrate between the actress and the person that she is. So, what was your experience like working with her?
you're saying this also because, I mean, that's a reflection of the fact that she's such a supreme actor. She's such a fabulous actor, and it
Very
comes so naturally to her, and it comes so effortlessly to her that sometimes you feel like, oh, she's not even trying, but it's
Yeah,
so effortless.
exactly.
And
Yes.
that also shows on screen, and that's why her performances are so brilliant. I was very, very keen to have Kareena in Bajrangi, because Kareena's character actually is the voice of reason in the film. When
Yeah.
everybody is floundering around, it's her character who shows the path to Bajrangi.
Yeah.
And I really wanted it, but I was also aware that Kareena was a huge star,
Yeah.
and I was actually giving her a character which is not, in the conventional sense of the word, like, in love stories from beginning to end. I knew that Kareena's
Correct.
character is predominantly there in the first half, and it
Yeah.
has much space
In
in
the
the second
second
half.
half. Yes.
Bajrangi and the little girl move over to Pakistan. So but I really wanted her, so I went to her and I told her, I said, it's not as big a role as maybe you would expect it to be, but it's a very important role. And therefore, if you don't mind, I want to narrate the whole film to you. And if you like the film, then please, come on board. And if you don't like it, then obviously, I would totally understand why you don't want to be a part of it. And I narrated the whole film to her, and she had tears in her eyes by the end of it. And she said, it's a beautiful film and I just want to be a part of it. And that was very gracious of her, because, then she came on. And she's magical on screen every time
Very
she
true.
comes.
But Kareena doesn't seem like that person who will be like, oh no, it's not long enough, it's not big
No,
enough.
she's
I
not.
think
I
she
think she
believes
goes
in the,
to her
yeah,
heart. Yeah. I think she just identifies with something and she likes something, she goes with it. You're right. She's not somebody who overthinks and analyzes.
yeah, yeah. What about the cute little girl, Munni? Have you, do you speak to her? Has she been, I mean, she's
Rarely we
adorable.
do.
She's grown up.
Yeah, she's grown up now. Now she's a
Yeah.
young lady, and I just, in fact, saw an announcement that she's doing a film now as as a grown up girl, which is great because now she's 17 years old. I keep, I don't talk to her much, but I do follow her on Instagram, and I keep sort of updating myself on what she's doing. I've spoken once in a while to her mother, and I'm really excited that she's doing a film. She was fabulous. I think she was the film.
Yeah.
Bajrangi Bhaijaan wouldn't be half the film without her $1 million smile, and it was a big heart for her, because I knew, my casting director Mukesh Chabra knew that if we don't get the correct Munni, the impact of the film would not be what we intended it to be, and therefore I think he must have auditioned 2,000 girls from all over, and we found her. She's, I think, originally from Himachal, but Mukesh spotted her in Delhi, and then she came to Bombay, and we did a workshop for a couple of weeks. But it was not only her, actually. There were 10 girls in that workshop. Because, when you're casting somebody who's 6 years old, you also need to see the level of excitement and commitment, because, children can get distracted and lose interest in what they're doing. But
she wasn't starstruck by Salman Khan.
No,
too small to understand.
No, she knew Salman, and of course she had seen his films and she knew that he's a big star. But she also had this innate confidence in herself. And I remember she went and she told Salman that I want to be a star.
How cute!
She had that ambition to do a film, and that was very important for us. So at the end of the 10-day or 12-day workshop that we conducted, we were pretty sure by the end of it that Harshaali is our Munni.
Coming to my favorite character in Bajrangi Bhaijaan, Nawazuddin Siddiqui. What a discovery! Did you really go that far to find that perfect station angle? I think you mentioned it somewhere that I went and found that perfect angle that matched that viral video.
Because that video is so iconic.
Yeah.
Everybody has seen it. I also had seen it 5 years before Bajrangi because it predates Bajrangi by many years.
Yeah.
And I remember when I saw that video, see, as filmmakers and writers, we are always drawing upon our own life experiences and what we see, what we hear, what we read. So I remember seeing that video and making a mental note to myself कि कभी ना कभी इस character को मैं कहीं इस्तेमाल करूंगा. So when I was writing the screenplay of Bajrangi, I said, who better than that character and bring him in, and let's bring him in with that iconic video. So I wanted to recreate it exactly word by word, the camera angle, the backdrop. So I really hunted everywhere to get the exact angle of that railway station, and we prepared so much for the scene, and it was a scene that had to be a single shot. There's no cut, right? It's just like a TV camera shooting him, and he's saying this, and people coming and going. So it needed choreography of from 50, 60 people, the train going at a particular speed, people entering the train. There was a lot of choreography in it. And I remember I said, this is such an important scene. So in my schedule, I put it as a whole day. Let's take a whole day. We have to get this correct because there are too many things that can go wrong. And but Nawazuddin being the supreme actor, the second take, we had it. And I said, okay, I have it in my bag. I know I have it. There's no point going again and again pulling the train back again. And suddenly we had an off day. So the whole crew was very happy because in 1 hour we finished what we were scheduling over 10 hours. And then everybody went partied in Jaisalmer.
Nawazuddin is he's very unique considering he used to do these 2 minutes, 3 minutes roles in films, and to that I think Bajrangi Bhaijaan is one of his most iconic films. He's asked about it in every interview. He was also your first choice. Like you'd seen his work and you
actually Nawaz's first appearance in a mainstream film is actually in New York.
Yeah. Yes.
So he had a fabulous role, a small role, but a very effective role where people at that point didn't recognize him and they were blown away by his performance. So I knew after New York that I have to work with him. And after New York, I made Ekta Tiger. There was no suitable role for Nawaz, so we didn't work together. So the moment I was scripting Bajrangi and the moment I realized that I'm going to use Chand Nawab's character, for me, I was pretty sure it's Nawaz. And I immediately called him. He came to office and I said, Nawaz, picture to main baad mein सुनाऊंगा तुम्हें क्या है. I want you to see something. And I went on to YouTube. I saw that Chand Nawab's video. I showed him the video. I said, this is your character. This is the starting point of the film. He said कि सर बस इससे आगे मुझे देखने की जरूरत ही नहीं है.
Okay. Okay. So what are you busy with now? What's going on? What is keeping you busy?
Actually, the last 8 to 10 months, I've been sitting and working a lot of ideas because, we have a lot of ideas and then you keep shooting films and they go onto the back burner. So I'm very happy. The last 8 to 10 months have been very productive where I've worked on 3 scripts. And they're all sort of, close to, one is complete. And we're in the process of now talking to actors, and I think within a month or so we should be able to announce a very exciting project, a very sweet story that I've been working on for a very long time now.
Okay, you've had a great year with Karthik and Chandu Champion. It's made waves everywhere.
It was fabulous. I think it was, again, that is a film that I enjoyed so much. I loved working with Karthik. He was such a fabulous collaborator. We have a fabulous relationship now because both of us, I think, enjoyed so much and got so much from Chandu Champion. We both were very passionately wanting to tell that story and bring Murlikant Petkar sir's story to India. And I'm so happy that Karthik got the level of appreciation that he did for that film because he put in so much of hard work. I've honestly not.
What did you discover that you feel was untapped till Chandu Champion? Something that
just the sheer stamina for hard work that Karthik has. I honestly didn't believe that anybody would be able to give that level of dedication to prepare for a role. 1.5 years of boxing, swimming, complete body transformation. There were times when I used to doubt it and I used to tell Karthik, yaar, mere ko nahi lag raha hoga. How will you reach that? He
Yeah.
didn't take steroids. He wanted a body that's suitable for the 1960s Olympic
Yeah.
boxer. He's of course, because he comes from a family of doctors, so he's mortally afraid of steroid. वो तो शुरू में तो प्रोटीन शेक को भी ऐसे देखता था डाउट के साथ, सर इसमें क्या डाल दिया, कुछ डाल तो नहीं दिया, सर
Yeah.
मेरे भाई from there for him to get the body he did
Mm.
for Chandu Champion is only because of his dedication. So what really surprised me is, of course, the fact that he performed brilliantly in that role, because it's very different from what Karthik has
He's been
been
doing
doing.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a very true, it's a very rooted performance. He's portraying a real character, and I
Character.
feel he needs to do much more of this. Of course, he needs to do these nice big entertainers. He's fabulous in these love stories and these, his comic timing is great. So he must do all this because his fans expect all this from him. But it was also the kind of love he got for a true performance like he did in Chandu Champion is something. And I think he's an intelligent boy. He will always keep juggling these. He'll do, a couple of those full-on entertainment
Massy
films,
films and then get to this.
films that are very good performances, and at the same time also very entertaining for the audience, very engaging for the audience. So yeah, I mean, Karthik was a revelation for me in Chandu Champion. I'm really happy that we did that film together, and I'm really happy that we share the relationship that we do today.